Hello, especially for the Dirty Secrets channel.
The pristine beaches of Bali's most exclusive resort stretched before Elena Margot Sinclair-Reyes like an endless canvas of manufactured tranquility. Her fingers, manicured to perfection, nails a soft blush pink that matched her carefully selected honeymoon wardrobe, twisted the delicate platinum wedding band on her left hand. The ring, a 3-carat emerald-cut diamond surrounded by pave settings, represented not just a symbol of love, but a meticulously calculated investment of trust that was now unraveling with surgical precision. Jack Alexander Reyes, her husband of precisely 5 days, 17 hours, and 43 minutes, stood with his back turned to her, arranging sunset cocktails at the private beachfront cabana. His profile was chiseled, the kind of masculine beauty that had made him a rising star in his corporate legal firm, tall, athletic, with Mediterranean features that suggested both vulnerability and calculated charm. Elena observed him with a clinical detachment that belied the tempest of emotions churning beneath her immaculately composed exterior. Years of professional training as a cybersecurity expert had taught her the art of emotional concealment. Where others saw a radiant newlywed, she was already 3 strategic moves ahead in a psychological chess game that would ultimately determine her path to justice. The evidence she had discovered that morning was not just a random discovery. It was the culmination of months of subtle observations, of tiny inconsistencies that most would have overlooked. Text message inadvertently left visible. A hotel receipt from a weekend supposedly spent at a professional conference. The way Jack's phone would vibrate with incoming messages, which he would silence with a reflexive, almost practiced motion. Her smile, reflected in the resort's floor-to-ceiling windows, was a masterpiece of controlled emotion, immaculate, practiced, containing within it the potential energy of an impending psychological detonation. The first tangible crack in Jack's carefully constructed narrative emerged from a single digital artifact, a screenshot stored in a heavily encrypted cloud drive, accessible only through a multi-factor authentication process that would challenge most cybersecurity professionals. The message was from Sofia Rodriguez, sent 3 months before their wedding, a period Jack had consistently described as a time of absolute commitment and anticipation of their future together. "I can't wait to see you again," the message read, its timestamp corresponding precisely to a weekend Jack had detailed as a critical business trip to Seattle for a major corporate acquisition. Elena remembered his description of that weekend with crystalline clarity. The specifics had been impressive: names of supposed clients, intricate details about merger negotiations, even the brand of whiskey he claimed to have shared during a late-night strategy session. Each word had been delivered with such conviction that she had never questioned its authenticity. Now those memories metamorphosed into something toxic, a slow-acting psychological venom that threatened to consume everything she thought she knew about her relationship, about love, about trust. While Jack believed Elena was occupying herself with typical honeymoon activities, spa treatments that promised rejuvenation, leisurely beach walks, sunset yoga sessions, she was executing a forensic investigation that would have impressed her most demanding professional colleagues. Her background in digital forensics was not merely a career credential but a sophisticated toolkit of psychological and technological skills. Where others saw a romantic getaway, she saw a crime scene waiting to be methodically deconstructed. Bank statements revealed patterns of unexplained expenses. Travel records showed discrepancies in reported locations. Digital communication logs became a labyrinth of hidden conversations, each message a potential piece of evidence in the most personal investigation of her life. The skills that had initially attracted Jack to her, her precision, her analytical mind, her ability to see patterns where others saw chaos, were now transforming into the most potent instruments of a meticulously planned retribution. Sofia Rodriguez was more than just a name on a screen. She was a meticulously constructed persona that Elena began to deconstruct with the same precision she would apply to penetrating a complex cybersecurity system. 32 years old. Senior Marketing Director at Quantum Horizons, a cutting-edge tech firm in San Francisco's Silicon Valley. Her LinkedIn profile was a carefully curated narrative of professional success, degrees from Stanford, a portfolio of high-profile marketing campaigns, photographs of international conferences that suggested global influence. But Elena saw beyond the polished exterior. The digital footprint told a different story. multiple encrypted messaging apps, burner email accounts, strategic social media posts that appeared spontaneous but were clearly calculated to maintain a specific image. Sophia wasn't just another mistress. She was a calculated participant in a complex relational ecosystem. Bank transfers revealed periodic payments that didn't align with standard consulting fees. Travel records showed mysterious weekend trips that coincided with Jack's supposed business travel. Each piece of data was another thread in a tapestry of systematic deception. The human mind, Elena knew from years of cybersecurity research and psychological profiling, was a labyrinthine landscape of contradictions. Marriage was not the romantic sanctuary society romanticized, but a complex architectural structure of power, vulnerability, and carefully negotiated boundaries. Her relationship with Jack was now revealed as a masterclass in psychological manipulation that she had unwittingly participated in for months, perhaps years. Every moment of their courtship, every seemingly spontaneous gesture, every intimate conversation was now cast in a different light. The memories that once sparkled with romance now felt like carefully staged performances. She recalled their first meeting at a technology conference in Singapore. Jack had approached her with a precision that now seemed calculated rather than serendipitous. He knew exactly which panels she'd attend, understood the nuanced research in cybersecurity she was presenting, and navigated the conversation with a level of preparedness that suggested more than casual interest. Her professional colleagues had been impressed. He understands technology, they'd say. Not just as a lawyer, but with genuine intellectual curiosity. Now, Elena understood it was strategic reconnaissance. Jack's legal background wasn't just a profession, it was a toolkit for manipulation. He understood systems, vulnerabilities, how to construct narratives that appeared unassailable. The very skills that had made him successful in corporate litigation were the same ones he'd employed in his personal life to maintain multiple relationships simultaneously. The depth of his betrayal wasn't just about physical infidelity. It was a comprehensive psychological operation designed to maintain multiple narratives simultaneously. Sophia wasn't an isolated incident but part of a complex relational ecosystem Jack had carefully cultivated. Elena's mind began mapping his betrayal like a complex network infrastructure, each relationship a node, each communication a potential vulnerability, each emotional connection a potential point of system breach. Their Balinese honeymoon suite became a psychological battleground where Elena transformed from victim to strategist. Each morning, she would wake before Jack, her body a study in controlled stillness while internal algorithms of revenge computated potential scenarios. The suite itself was a perfect metaphor for their relationship, beautiful on the surface, structurally compromised beneath. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Indian Ocean provided a panoramic view that mirrored the expansive nature of her emerging plan. The luxurious king-sized bed where they'd shared intimate moments now felt like a crime scene waiting to be forensically examined. Breakfast became a performance of psychological warfare. Elena would prepare Jack's favorite morning coffee, a precise blend of single-origin Ethiopian beans he'd once described as his ultimate preference, while simultaneously extracting digital evidence from his momentarily unattended devices. Her tradecraft was impeccable. Years of cybersecurity work had taught her that the most sophisticated attacks are those the target never sees coming. She wasn't planning a dramatic confrontation. She was designing a comprehensive dismantling of Jack's entire constructed reality. Each conversation was a carefully calibrated probe. A mention of a colleague. A casual inquiry about a past trip. A seemingly innocent request to review some travel documents. Jack, believing himself to be the master manipulator, remained oblivious that he was being systematically deconstructed. The honeymoon was no longer a celebration of love. It had transformed into an intricate psychological operation with Elena as the primary strategist, Jack as the unwitting subject, and their entire relationship as the contested terrain. Revenge, she was discovering, was not an emotional response but a meticulously designed system of calculated retribution. Technology had always been Elena's greatest ally, and now it would become her most precise instrument of psychological dismemberment. Her background in advanced cybersecurity wasn't just a profession, it was an arsenal of investigative capabilities that Jack couldn't begin to comprehend. She began with a systematic deconstruction of his digital ecosystem. Multiple encrypted drives, forensic recovery of deleted messages, cross-referencing communication patterns across various platforms. Each deleted text, each hidden communication channel became a breadcrumb in the complex trail of Jack's infidelity. First breakthrough came through an innocuous cloud backup. A series of encrypted messages revealed not just Sophia, but two additional women, Maria, a corporate lawyer in New York, and Cassandra, a travel photographer who seemed to intersect with Jack's supposed business trips with alarming frequency. These weren't mere affairs. They were strategically managed parallel relationships, each carefully compartmentalized to prevent detection. The human capacity for compartmentalization was a marvel of psychological engineering, and Jack had elevated it to an art form that bordered on pathological genius. His method of maintaining multiple relationships wasn't just infidelity, it was a complex system of emotional and logistical manipulation that revealed a depth of psychological sophistication Elena had only previously encountered in her most challenging cybersecurity case studies. Each affair was a meticulously constructed parallel universe, complete with its own linguistic codes, communication protocols, and carefully managed expectations. Maria, the corporate lawyer, represented his intellectual conquest, late-night legal discussions that seamlessly blended professional discourse with intimate connection. Cassandra, the travel photographer, satisfied his need for spontaneity and adventure, her global wanderings providing perfect cover for strategically timed encounters. Sophia represented something different entirely, a calculated professional connection that blurred the lines between personal and professional intimacy. Her role in Jack's elaborate network was more than just a romantic entanglement. She was a strategic partner, someone who understood the complex game of professional and personal manipulation. Elena's forensic analysis revealed a stunning truth. These weren't random affairs. They were carefully managed relationships, each serving a specific psychological and practical purpose in Jack's life. He didn't just cheat. He constructed entire ecosystems of human connection, each compartmentalized with surgical precision. Technological footprint was a masterpiece of deception. Multiple encrypted messaging apps, strategically timed communication windows, carefully managed digital boundaries that prevented accidental cross-contamination between his different relational networks. Her background in cybersecurity had prepared her for complex systems, but this was something else entirely. Jack had turned human relationships into a form of advanced technological infrastructure, with redundant communication channels, fail-safe mechanisms, and intricate routing systems that prevented unexpected intersections. The final week of their honeymoon transformed into a high-stakes psychological experiment that would have fascinated the most sophisticated behavioral researchers. Elena became simultaneously the observer and the subject, a quantum state of relational uncertainty that defied traditional emotional categorization. Intimacy became her primary investigative tool. Each romantic dinner was a carefully designed interrogation, each moment of physical closeness a strategic information-gathering opportunity. She understood that true psychological warfare wasn't about dramatic confrontation but about systematic deconstruction. Jack remained completely oblivious, believing his carefully constructed facade was impenetrable. He did not comprehend that every touch, every whispered endearment, every moment of supposed marital bliss was being analytically processed, categorized, and stored as potential evidence. Their luxurious Balinese resort suite became a controlled environment for her most sophisticated psychological investigation. The floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Indian Ocean were more than just architectural features, they were metaphorical representations of the transparent yet unknowable nature of their relationship. Morning routines became carefully choreographed performances. While Jack prepared for supposedly innocuous business calls, Elena would systematically extract digital evidence from his momentarily unattended devices. Her techniques were so sophisticated that she could retrieve deleted communications, reconstruct message threads, and map entire communication networks without leaving a trace. The most fascinating aspect of her investigation was its emotional neutrality. She wasn't driven by traditional emotional responses of anger or heartbreak. Her approach was clinical, almost scientific, a pure exploration of human psychological complexity. Jack had chosen the wrong woman to deceive. Elena wasn't just going to expose his betrayal. She was going to deconstruct his entire existential framework with the precision of a master strategist dismantling a complex security system. The hunter had become the hunted, though he remained blissfully unaware of the intricate psychological trap being meticulously constructed around him. The final days of their honeymoon became a high-stakes psychological chess match where Elena transformed from betrayed wife to strategic architect of total retribution. Her plan was not merely exposure but comprehensive dismemberment, professional, financial, emotional. She began with Jack's professional ecosystem. As a senior partner at a prestigious corporate law firm, his reputation was his most valuable asset. Elena's cybersecurity background provided her with tools far more sophisticated than traditional revenge narratives. She didn't want dramatic confrontation. She wanted surgical deconstruction. Each piece of evidence was meticulously collected, verified, cross-referenced. Communication logs, financial transactions, travel records, digital footprints that told a story of systematic, calculated betrayal. The most devastating weapon in her arsenal was not emotional outrage but cold, precise documentation. She would dismantle Jack's entire constructed reality with the same methodical approach she would use to penetrate a complex corporate security system. Their last night in Bali would become the moment of ultimate psychological revelation. The resort's most exclusive suite, a $5,000 per night sanctuary of glass, tropical woods, and panoramic ocean views, became the stage for her final performance. Dinner was a masterpiece of controlled intimacy. Jack, believing himself entirely secure, remained oblivious to the psychological operation being conducted around him. Elena had mapped every potential scenario, every potential response, every potential defensive mechanism Jack might employ. As midnight approached, she would begin the systematic dismemberment of his entire constructed reality. Not with anger, not with tears, but with the most terrifying weapon of all, absolute calculated precision.
Thank you for watching. If you liked the story, like, subscribe to the channel and share with your friends. Thank you.